In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today, we're going to dig into marketing tools that are appropriate for startups and see how marketing's changed over the course of time, well, at least over the last couple of decades. And we'll peek into some modern networking techniques as well. I've got my guest, whose name is Eric Eden. He's got over 20 years of experience in technology marketing for internet services and SaaS solutions. His experience includes building great marketing teams, implementing marketing technology solutions effectively, and driving demand in B2B marketing while increasing shareholder value with best-in-class marketing initiatives. And that's what I love to talk about, is best in class. Eric, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for you taking some time this evening to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, let's go back into the Wayback Machine and talk a little bit about what marketing looked like when you first started your career, because that's always kind of a fascinating topic in all this.
Well, my daughters will tell you that I'm very old. In fact, older than the internet, older than Google. My first job out of college was actually working for the Central Internet Domain Name Registry.
Nice.
So when the internet was first getting going, the original .com registry, there was less than 100,000 .com domain names. Today, there's over 350 million domain names.
Right.
So that tells you a little bit about the scale of the journey we've all been on, putting everything online in the last 25 years. And I think that it's been really fun to watch, the internet boom, and then, the cloud boom and the mobile phone boom. And now we're in the AI boom, right? So It's been really fun to watch the technologies progress over the years. It's definitely changed, the marketing strategies and tactics and the way you execute programs. And I mean, this is what I love doing. So I'm excited to always seeing it evolve.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It is amazing to watch these bubbles that we get involved in the marketing world, and then how it just gets integrated into our everyday activities. But yeah, there's still some threads of what good marketing is, and just give me a couple of things that you've seen that are the consistent threads of what powerful marketing should be.
Yeah, I think those consistent threads of having good messaging, good positioning, being able to describe who you are, what you do, who you serve, and being able to make really compelling offers to those people, that's never going to go out of style, right?
Right.
And I think there's tools that can perhaps help you tailor and refine all of those things, but still, the human genius has to overlook and come up with those things to position you with all of the competition out there today. And I think, where we're at here at the end of 2024 is that it's a very competitive world, and, people need to be able to stand out. And those are ways with messaging and positioning and great offers and being able to think about who you serve and how to engage with them is all things that are always going to be pillars for marketers to master.
I like that. Yeah, I agree 100%. Good messaging, a clear idea who you're talking to, right? And compelling offers. That those things will never go out of style.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's see. This project that you're working on, the Workverse, it looks like you're selling to individuals as well as businesses. Talk to me a little bit about what the product is, and then how you're working to leverage some of the tools to reach out to the appropriate people.
Absolutely. So, what we're building at Workverse is the next generation of social media. We really believe that we all deserve the next generation of social media because most of the social media platforms today are full of bots, spam, fraud, fake accounts. And it's just not a really great user experience. I mean, that's the problem that we're solving. LinkedIn in the last year removed 120 million fake accounts.
Yeah, and then they were replaced by 250 million fake accounts.
So it creates a really weird experience with social platforms that
Yeah,
is not the greatest use of AI when people are just creating fake profiles with AI and then people are commenting or creating posts with AI and then people are commenting on those posts with AI and it's like bots talking to bots. It's
yeah,
very weird. And so what we've created is a better social networking experience where it's all of the accounts are verified, it's real people, real companies, no bots, no spam, no fake accounts. And so the technology to do that is actually isn't very hard. It's just that the models that the previous social media companies had is all based on advertising, which is
sure.
chasing big numbers and fake accounts. And so I think a lot of people are over it. Like I've talked to, I don't know, hundreds of people, and a solid third of them would say they just gave up on a lot of these social platforms because of the misuse of some of the technologies around automation and bots and fake accounts. And I don't blame them. It's pretty horrible. So I think we're building something really special that allows a much more sort of VIP experience where real people can connect with real companies and do real networking. I'm very interested in building that future.
Yeah, I love it. I think I agree that there's a space in that, and it's interesting to me. So let's talk about what what this looks like, what the Workverse universe is.
Yeah, so it's subscription based, so there's no advertising at all, and that
Okay.
solves a lot of the problems inherently.
Yep.
And then, you know, we verify every account on the platform. It's not hard, take a selfie, and then take a picture of your ID and you get verified. And
Yeah.
there's a separate verification process for companies. It's equally as similar, just like put in your basic company details and we can verify whether companies are real or not. And so that foundation, solves a lot of these problems. And then we've set it up as a marketplace that is, but it's not like you can just go in there and start sending direct messages to everybody in the world
Right.
where you can do on a lot of sites because we don't think that that's really how people want to do business. I think companies should be posting not just full-time jobs, but they should be posting if they're looking for company advisors or speakers for their events or people for their board of directors or consultants or fractional help because a lot of companies are
Yeah.
moving that way today.
Yep.
And so letting companies post, so these are the types of things that we're looking for, and then letting people who are verified apply for those and apply with like video, not just a AI generated resume that beigifies people. So we have some very interesting, unique pieces of it. And one of the other unique pieces of it is a little bit more about narrowcasting is that people can set up their own advisor mastermind group
Oh,
and
cool.
invite their 10 people who give them advice, mentors, colleagues, friends, colleagues, and say, hey, this is my space where I can invite my advisors to give me ongoing feedback and advice.
Love
And
it.
I think that's what people really need versus just blasting out posts, just try to get likes or bots replying to their posts, like
Yep.
impressions. I don't know what all of this. We've gotten lost in all of that. I think so. I think like it's about like having quality group advisory connections is a different approach than saying, replicate your 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. I'm like, I don't have any desire to do that.
Right. And then how have you been getting new users for your platform up to now?
Yeah, so it's largely through partnering with highly qualified groups. I think that's sort of where we start because
Cool.
we're not just looking to get big numbers on it. And when I say it's more of a VIP experiences, we're looking for people who are part of professional organizations that would lead you to the conclusion that they are professionally ambitious.
Yeah.
Like we have groups of chief marketing officers that are putting all of their members on the platform.
Nice.
We have groups of startup founders who are putting all the startup founders on the platform, to give you an example. And that's how we're planning to grow, in addition to the fact that once people, get a complimentary account, then they can invite their inner circle of 10 people. That creates sort of the viral
Yeah.
effect. And
That's the old Gmail strategy there, if you remember that process.
Yep.
Right?
Gmail, Clubhouse, that's
Yeah.
where we took historical inspiration from some of those
I love it.
places. I
Yeah.
think, that's one of the have a great offer is you can come in and then you can bring in your inner circle. And
Yep.
I have a promo code for your listeners. Like if they want a
Awesome.
complimentary subscription,
Yeah.
grow 2025, if they go to workverse.com and sign up for an account to build their personal brand, they can use that to build a professional brand account. And I think it's a great way for people to get out there, build their brand, get more opportunities for their career. And if people want to look at it for their company too, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
they can create their own advisory group. And we are using a lot of AI things in the back end on the platform, like most platforms these days, and tools that are making the experience great. Like we've used AI to simplify that you can create a profile in under 10 minutes.
Nice.
So you don't have to key everything in. You can just say, copy the same stuff I have on my LinkedIn profile or my
Yep.
resume.
Nice.
Because no one wants to type all that stuff in. And then we have this other more advanced AI matching capabilities on the skills that someone has. We match that up with the skills that people are looking to hire.
Nice.
And I think the magic is really in the matching of that versus like people getting shown random opportunities that they don't have any skills for, right? That's the problem with like a lot of the legacy sites, I think.
Yeah. How old is the Workverse?
So it's a year old, and so
Okay.
in a lot of ways we're just getting started.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things is that starting out with a non-advertising model, we're okay to make it VIP and exclusive because it's not about big numbers, it's about quality, right?
Right. Yep.
And I think some people, when they chase the advertising and the big numbers game, and then they don't even realize that most of the numbers are fake. Like if you look at TikTok, and I'm a fan of TikTok, but all of the numbers there are just massively inflated in terms of likes, views. And
Right.
so when people are looking at advertising on TikTok, it's sort of like, okay, these are all fake numbers though. Be aware of that. Like it's not real numbers.
Yeah. Kind of like how Twitter was in that transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same idea. About how many users do you have on there right now?
We have about 5,000
Okay. Nice.
that are in various stages.
Yeah.
So I think that our goal is in the next year to get 1 million people on the platform.
Wow.
So I think, it's interesting stat is that when you look at LinkedIn, they have 1 billion registered users,
Right.
but only 50 million or 5% are actually paying for LinkedIn Premium.
Right.
So we're mostly just interested in people within that sort of top 5% group because
Sure.
they're investing in their brand today. They're out there and they're networking. Those are the people that, this is probably a great fit for. Anybody can do it. But when I say it's sort of for the top 5 or 10% of professionally ambitious people, those people sort of self-identify, right?
Right. They're willing to put some money behind it and follow the rules and all those things, right? That
Right.
we care about. Is it a space where I'm going to be posting content, or what does that look like in terms of the environment and the content that we're seeing?
So we have a different approach other than just having like a river of news, because I think that's a little awkward depending on the algorithm changes LinkedIn's making and the others make with their river of news feeds. So what we've designed is that you can create the best looking brand page for yourself or for your company. And what we're going to allow people to do is highlight their best content and the best moments of their career on their page. So you, for example, you have this great podcast and you have written a book, right?
Yeah.
So you can highlight and link to your podcast, your YouTube channel, your book, all of those things on your profile. And as I talk to people, that's what they really want. They want another way to promote their podcast. They want another way to promote their YouTube channel. They
Sure.
want a way to promote their book. And so we have basically modules that allow you to promote those things in a really meaningful way on your brand page. And I think that's the same thing that companies want. Companies operate podcasts and they have YouTube channels. And it's the saddest thing ever when I see someone has uploaded like 100 videos to YouTube and they have just a very small number of views and subscribers. I'm like,
Yeah.
they need some marketing help. And so
Yeah.
that's what I want to do, because people put a lot of work into these things. And I think that there's 51 million YouTube channels out there. There's 5 million podcasts. There's millions of books, nonfiction books that get published each year.
Yep.
People need help promoting these things to stand out, to make their brand stand out, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, yeah, and there's phases of those developments, right? Like you got to get in and start developing content, and you got to start optimizing content. Then you got to really niche in once you have the systems of content development in order to make it reach a focused market.
Yeah, absolutely. So we allow people to feature their best content on their profile as the answer to your question.
Yep.
I think we do it differently than the river of news. People can also write articles and have them appear on their profile. But, the idea is that put your portfolio up there, put your best work up there, and then drive people to your page to see your best work. And I think that's a cool way to approach it.
Yeah, I love it. Well, shifting gears a little bit, you're an experienced marketer, you're an experienced technologist. Talk to me a little bit about what you've integrated into your daily workflow in terms of AI tools to make your life better and your job a little easier so you have more time to spend with your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I've been able to punch above our weight significantly, to use a boxing analogy. And, we have a smaller team, but I think it feels like our team is 5 times bigger because of the work that we can get done with these tools. So we use tools like HubSpot, who recently released like 200 new AI features, right? And so a lot of the historical tools are coming up to date and have a lot of these great capabilities that make things so much faster and easier to do. There's so much automation versus I used to have people have to do a lot of this over the last 20 years. People do a lot of this data work manually, and it was a job they really hated. So I don't feel bad about automating it at all.
Right.
They would much rather be doing more strategic things. And I, of course, love ChatGPT. I use that. I use Perplexity. I use Claude. But specifically, like with ChatGPT, like we created our own GPT internally and trained it on everything related to Workverse.
Yep.
And then now whenever I'm like, oh, I need like a marketing email on this topic, it'll help me generate the first draft of that. Oh, like it helped me generate like scripts for 20 product videos. Because it was smart on it. And it doesn't generate everything perfectly, but like if you give it good direction and you do 5 or 10 drafts, you can do a lot of this stuff in a fraction of the time it used to take to create, videos.
Right.
And I've used one of the coolest tools on top of that is I use ChatGPT to create scripts and outlines for videos. And then I use tools like HeyGen to create a digital twin of myself and create product walkthrough videos for people. And, those guys raised like $60 million. And it's amazing because once you train it on your likeness, I can just upload a script and it'll read it perfectly every time. And so I can produce tons of great product videos I never would have been able to do that in the past. It would have taken me forever to like do it and then edit it. And like, I just use that example because I think video is a impactful way to get the message out there today. And, for producing my podcast, which is how I get people into the Workverse audience, the Remarkable Marketing Podcast, I have all these AI tools. I have like 4 different tools, but my favorite one is like Descript, because you can record and edit using AI tools episodes. I've produced 200 episodes of my podcast this year, all by myself with no help, because I can do every episode with soup to nuts in less than 2 hours of work.
Beautiful.
And I think a lot of people gave up on podcasting over the years because every episode would take like 10 hours of work.
Right.
It's just like exhausting, right? And so, but with tools like Descript and Buzzsprout and Podpage, like you can produce and promote and distribute your podcast to all the podcast platforms, and like a half-hour episode can be start to finish 2 hours. Like, it's amazing. Like that efficiency is like 5 times what it was just like a couple years ago. So I think a lot of people are thinking about innovative ways to take the basic large language models and make them work for these very specific use case. Like, it's great at generating show notes. It's great at generating clips. It's great at doing a lot of these things that just took a lot of time to do before.
Yeah, and they, like you're saying, it was drudgery work. It wasn't creative human inspiration work. It was just grind.
It was not glorious.
Yeah,
not exactly.
At all. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I love it that you're looking to build 1 million users in 2025. I'm excited about that. I'm going to go and use this Grow 2025 code and get my profile set up. Any secrets you want to give me while I'm setting up my profile?
Yeah, I think someone like yourself who has a great personal brand because you've done the work. When you wrote your book and you have your podcast, like you have your bio available and you have a headline available and you have great headshots. I think you probably have a lot of the information that you can easily just put in there and create a profile in just a few minutes. I think there's a lot of people who have not yet done that work to create their foundational personal brand. And I would say to those people is the best time to start building your personal brand was probably 10 years ago. The second best time is today. And so I would just get started and do it. And you can always add and iterate to it over time. But, it is important. I think we live in a very competitive world today. That's what I sort of learned from the existing social media platforms is they're very saturated, not just with a lot of bots, but everybody is on them. And that's sort of the problem is like, how do you stand out? Yep. And so you got to go in there and think about how can you stand out? Like, what will make companies want to hire me as an expert, as a speaker, as a advisor for my board of directors, or even a full-time or fractional role? I think there's all kinds of opportunities out there, even in a tough market. But the first step of doing that is to get out there and build your personal and your executive brand. And this is a no-code, easy way to do that in just a few minutes, really.
I love it, and I agree with you. We live in a flat Earth now, right? Everybody is competitive, no matter where they live. We've seen it with the way staffing works now. We can hire people from Argentina or from Tanzania as easily as we can down the street. So building this personal executive brand is beautiful. Eric, I'd love to have you back on just to talk about that, about how we do that in the best way if you're interested in being on the show again in a few months. Absolutely. Love to do it. Okay. Well, I really appreciate your time today, and I appreciate the work that you're doing for Workverse. There's a space for it, and I'm supportive of you, and I'll do my best to get my 10 people signed up as quickly as possible and help you with your million person goal. Amazing. Thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it. You betcha. And so it's we'll have links in the show notes. And Eric, I'm sure you would be happy to connect with people on your platform and also on LinkedIn, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.